Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Awakening Her podcast. How are you doing today, my friend? Welcome. If you're new to the show, hello, hi. I'm so happy our paths have crossed. My name is Talia Joy. Welcome to this space. I am a guide. I am a life coach, an intuitive channel, a mom of 3, a human design reflector, and most of all, I'm a human on this journey, walking alongside you in this self-growth, because we're doing it, right? We're doing the personal development, the emotional healing, the transformation, and moving toward and stepping into that life that we see in our mind's eye. So that's what I help you with on this show. And speaking of personal transformation, my new book, The Delicate Art of Transformation, is officially out in the world. I am beyond grateful if you've already grabbed a copy. Thank you so much for the support. And if you haven't, the link is in the show notes. It's a handbook in this messy, delicate, not so delicate art of self-growth and transformation. And I know that you are going to see yourself and relate to it, and it's going to help move you forward into your next level. So you can grab a copy below. Also coming very soon is the Bali retreat, January 2027. The doors will be opening soon. We're going to Bali for almost a week. Get on the list. It's officially still waitlist time, so get on the list. We are locking in dates. It's very, very exciting. So it's all about dropping into the body to access the spirit, the highest self, and really your next level. So let's do that together. The link, as I said, for that is below. So in today's episode, it is going to be so good. We are talking about highest self energy and what this really means beyond the perfection, beyond the all or nothing, beyond the highest self being this perfect version of you. Let's not have it be overwhelming. Let's have it not be control and perfection based. Let's drop in deeper than that. That's what we're really going to look at in this episode. So we're going to take it, as I love to do, far and wide and into the levels of the soul and the fullest expression of who you are. But we're also going to bring it right down to the ground with what you can physically do and how to actually move into this more today, to have those perspective shifts, to have the physical, tangible steps. Let's do all of it together. So I'm excited. I think with that, let's just dive in. So grab a sip of water, take a deep breath, drop your shoulders, and let's dive in. So I know you've heard the term highest self. It's everywhere. We hear it a lot around the new year. We hear it a lot in the spiritual development and self-development space. And people often think, or to me it seems like there's a connotation that it means best self, perfect self, flawless self, right? Like highest self energy is like best self. And I want to kind of, layer through this today and talk about it, because when we turn highest self into perfection, it actually, in a way, pulls us back into the human ego, into the pressure, into the overwhelm. The highest self is not perfection. The highest self is connection. It's a higher connection, or even you could say a higher perspective. And of course, we're going to dive much deeper into this. So from the ground up, your highest self is you. But in a way, it's you tuned into source consciousness, life force energy, your highest good, the highest good of all. And this is where we tune into our soul's frequency, higher when people talk about 5D energy, or, the frequency of angels, guides, our intuition when we're speaking to source frequencies. So in a way, your highest self is almost like an ethereal you, or a transcended you, or a high consciousness you. So that's really good, which is like very similar to what your soul is from my perspective again. And that's very good. But when we want to use it in our human life and kind of go like, I want to live in my highest self energy, or this is the year of my highest self, or what does my highest self have to say here? We really want to bring that energy into our everyday life, bring it into when we're in the grocery store, or when we're making a decision, or when something gives us a nudge either way, or we're leaning into our dreams, going into that next level. So we do want to bring it into the human, but again, we want to be aware that it's not about perfection. So now we think about it as a version of us, and you can pull them up in your mind's eye if you're a visualizer, or just tune into their energy. So it's a version of us that is you, as you are now, in the way that it's your height, your hair color, your style of dressing, or maybe they have an evolved style because that's important to you or something, but you get it. It's you, right? It's you at the height you are and all of that. Just more integrated, more embodied, more peaceful, more conscious, because it's you. And you've healed through even more. You've released the weight of what you're carrying right now and of what this human experience does to us, right? It's made you more resilient. It's made you even more compassionate, more deeply loving toward yourself. So yes, also loving to others, because you're already that, loving to others and animals. And I know you're compassionate, but this version of you, you're deeply loving and compassionate toward yourself as well. So a word I'm hearing now is grace. It's like this highest self. You could picture it, a version of you. And if you even want to make it on a timeline, 6 months from now, or a year from now, or 3 months, whatever feels comfortable. And it's the you who, again, has released the stuff, released the baggage, really allowed yourself to expand and move forward. And maybe tangibly you're meditating, or you're, connecting with a higher power, or you feel really confident in your skin and you're drinking lots of water. And we'll talk about the tangible things in a minute. But imagine it being you, if you want, in the future, or just this version of you that's just a bit more expanded. And I love to think of it as a version of you that is living the fullest expression of who you truly are. So not the fullest expression of perfection, like you as you are, free to be you. So if you're silly and weird, be silly and weird. You're dressing as what makes you feel confident. You're going for things that make you feel confident. You believe in yourself. You're, if you're someone who takes the center stage, you feel confident to do so. If you're someone who's quiet, but you're working on big things, that's what you're free to do. It's you being so you, the fullest expression of who you are in creativity and in empathy and what you give to the world and, the people around you and your presence. It's all of that. If you want to picture your highest self into human form so that it inspires you and activates you and allows you to move forward, imagining them as you a little bit, as I say, more integrated, grace, embodied, powerful, however you want to picture, as I'm saying these things, what comes forward for you? What is that highest self version for you? And really getting that in a way solidified into your consciousness. So either imagining them, you could even write it out, just like she feels ethereal, maybe drawing like a white halo around, like whatever makes you feel connected to that vision, where you start to, interact is the word. Yeah. You start to interact with them. You start to ask them questions. And again, we'll get there in a second. But we bring the non-physical into the physical. We bring that kind of floaty, soul-like higher consciousness into the physical world as best we can. We create tangible decisions. And this is where people talk about embodiment, like embodying that highest self energy. Is like, for me, I want to stand up straight. I want to put my arms out and open, embodying that highest self. She's got a smile on her face. She feels powerful and grounded. For you, it might be something different. It might be, highest self energy. You're in the forest, or you're, whatever it is for you, working out, or maybe whatever it is, right? So living the fullest expression of you. And we start to bring that into our physical reality. We roll our shoulders back. You know, a lot of you that have worked with me or been in programs, been in any close proximity, we do a lot of physical practices like the her work or the quantum onesie, where we step into the energy of what you are becoming. We play with it. We try it on. So we bring that non-physical into the physical. So I'm going to pause here for a second. And what I want to talk about before we go further is how often, as I was mentioning, we imagine highest self energy as like best self, January 1st. I'm going like low carb, low sugar, extra workouts, all the things, perfection all the ways, right? And that is, again, not highest self. But this strand of thinking, this way of thinking actually ends up blocking us, if you want to use that word, if I want to use that word. I just don't love the word block because anyway, but that perfectionism actually gets in our way. So when we believe that our highest self has to be flawless, it actually creates something called cognitive dissonance. And you guys know sometimes I love to throw in the psychology stuff because this stuff is science-based. It's the psychology of change. And I find it really fascinating. So your brain says, I'm not that, so why try? Like, I'm not that yet, or overwhelming, okay, on Thursday or of course on Monday, we're going to start doing, this crazy workout thing and all smoothies and whatever. It's overwhelmed and it thinks I'm not that. Like, it's so far from what I am. The nervous system gets overwhelmed and your identity and your brain resists the change. So it's so overwhelming that it creates this cognitive dissonance where we actually freeze, shut down, like separate ourselves from what we want. And this will come through in those ways of, quote unquote, procrastination, being in freeze, being in shutdown, confusion, overwhelm that we never get clarity to. We're just in overwhelm, in lack of clarity, but not gaining the clarity. You know what I mean? This can be self-criticism. Lots of things come up because it's almost too far away from what we see ourselves to be, what we know ourselves to be. So that's why I recommend inquiring into highest self energy, looking at it as love, looking at it as grounded in your highest good. So if that translates into she's taking her vitamins or they're, exercising regularly and socializing with friends and making changes in the world or doing whatever it is that they, see, if that version of you is doing those things, the day when they get sick or overwhelmed or they don't have clarity, they're not hard on themselves. They are more compassionate. They ground down. They're looking after their health as well as their success, as well as other things, putting their needs first, making sure that they're filled up. So there's these other elements that when you hit a rough patch, when you're stuck in your own freeze, when a trigger comes up, because they will, that's where we don't put perfectionism on things. Because if you default back into your highest self, what would they do from here? What would they do now? What would they do when they haven't worked out in months or years and they feel overwhelmed and they want to do it, but they feel themselves, maybe it's resisting? What do they do there? Well, chances are, and your highest self will be different than mine, but mine will say, I see that it's overwhelming and I see that it's, something you want to try, and I have compassion for you that you're in this state, and it's okay. It's okay to feel this. It's okay to resist. It's scary. Your system doesn't know. Your system wants to put it off, but we're learning to put our needs first. So what is one small thing that we can do today that is aligned with health or body movement or something? And then maybe you go, okay, well, I could take like that chill 15-minute walk, that nature path that I love. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, yeah. That might be the way your highest self comes in. Your highest self doesn't say push yourself beyond your capacity, just do it. When you are trying to start something or you fall off the quote unquote wagon of whatever it is, exercise or some sort of, you were meditating and then you don't, it's your ego saying, just do it. You should have done it. Okay, tomorrow will be different. Just do it. That's the ego. It wants what's best for you. It just has a screwed up way of going about it. But our highest self would say, you are worth it. You are worth it. Let's start the day with a big glass of water. Yes, that feels good. Good job. Now, do you think we could go for a little walk? Or how do we want to move? Do you want to put on a song and just dance around? And yes, this is movement, getting that heart rate up. What feels good today? And that type of talk will get you there way more often and consistently. And again, in love, not in stress. But that voice will get you to the walking trail or writing your book or taking your vitamins. That voice will get you there over the voice of just do it. You should have done it. Why aren't you doing it? You're never going to do it. That creates this freeze response in our brain and or when we're coupling it with thinking that our highest self is just perfect. So you just got to be it. You just got to do it. That actually ends up biting us. So let's move forward with the more higher frequency, higher self energy, what it really is. So we've turned the highest self into somewhat of a checklist often, right? Eat this way, work out this way, make this much money. My highest self is waking up at 5 a.m. and doing this meditation and, Kundalini day 719. And if you're on Kundalini day 719, holy kudos. I love you so much. That is inspiring. And when I put the pressure on myself, it backfires, as we were talking about. So it's the highest self is not just manifest $1 million. The highest self is not a lifestyle aesthetic. Your highest self is love frequency in action. So that's what this is all leading to. Highest self energy is expanded energy because it's love in action. It's heart-led. It's living their truth. It's expressing themselves fully. My highest self is nurturing her body, honoring her emotions, allowing her seasons to be there, being creative, nurturing her needs, trying, as I said, to speak the truth and be vulnerable and ask for help. That's also part of that higher self energy. Nurturing myself, following my soul's guidance, being brave when I need to be brave, and then retreating and allowing my system to chill when that's what it needs as well. That's what my highest self does. Whereas years ago, I thought my highest self would be like, oh, she's doing the business and posting 5 times a week and making, 10K months and doing these things. But now I'm actually learning that it's living in truth, expressing fully, nurturing myself, holding myself through difficult times, being grace, being self-compassion. So I invite you to ask if that is you for your highest self as well. Because when we're in that state, then we actually are what people are saying, quote unquote, aligned. We're opening our heart. We're living more like that every day, opening up to what is here for us. And that is where we become magnetic. And this is where manifestation comes in. We become magnetic to miracles, success, abundance, collaborations. Your energy makes people want to lean in when you're tuned into that love frequency. When you are going on walks and filling yourself up and drinking your water and making a difference in your community or in your world or living life the way that fills you up with joy, that joy fills up and comes out and it impacts the people around you. Whether you're called to write a book or be on stages or all these big things we think of like globally impacting, that's great. But it's for every single person. It impacts how you parent, how you are in the community, how you are with your partner, how you are with your friends, how you live your own life, how you interact with your money and your success and your career, and how you treat the cashiers and the people that make your food and who you be in your life. That's where you'll become magnetic. So yes, abundance, success, synchronicities, free things, all the good stuff tangibly, but it's because it came from that heart-led highest self energy that you choose to embody. As we start to wrap this up, I'm going to make it a little bit more tangible again. One of the easiest ways you can start to do this, and it is a simple practice that you do over and over and over and over again, like a lot of the really good simple practices. It's not about complexity. It's about revisiting the question, revisiting the energy. So asking yourself at any given time, what is the highest path I could take from here? Or what is the highest self energy action, however you want to phrase it, that I could take from here right now? Like we're talking when you're in your car and you're deciding what you're going to eat next, or what you're going to do with your evening, or maybe you're in your business and you don't know which way to go, or it's just a day off. What should I do today? Or should I reach out to this person? Asking, what is the highest path? And again, we're going to strip away the perfectionism, because sometimes I'm in a day where I feel in freeze, I feel overwhelmed. And I think, what is a highest path action I could take? And I don't phrase it even like that, like it's this formal thing. But sometimes it's like, I need to take a bath and have some tea and reset myself. Other days, I'm like, okay, you know what? If I get this and this and this ready, I can give it to my assistant and then she can start doing this, and that would really help move me forward. It's going to be a different answer every day. So what can you do from here that is in love, in the highest good of you and of all? What is love in action? What is the highest action you could take right now? And again, highest could be so gentle. That's why it's powerful. It could be forgiving yourself, taking the pressure off. It could be buying yourself that thing that you really want or need, nurturing your body, going to yoga, taking a moment off, clearing your schedule, honoring your emotions. So what is that highest self energy that you could bring in right here, right now? Not your whole life, not your 5-year plan, just this moment. And the answers will be incredibly human. Drinking a glass of water, going for a walk, moving your body, messaging a friend, resetting your nervous system, touching a tree, choosing self-compassion, giving yourself space, giving yourself grace, going to the gym, doing a short meditation, putting your hand on your heart, taking a deep breath. You're doing such a good job. Sometimes your highest self is doing something more and bold, and sometimes your highest self is doing something less. Sometimes it's the scary thing, and sometimes it's doing nothing and letting yourself surrender and be held by life. But the question that we ask of what is the highest path from here, that becomes the compass. It softens through the overwhelm. It eases confusion. It helps us to be productive. What is the highest thing I could do from here? And we take one small step. And this is how our identity shifts happen. This is how we rewire our brain. And this is how we integrate that soul consciousness, higher path energy into right now. And your nervous system learns, ooh, this feels good. I'm safe to choose myself. I'm safe to choose expansion. And we slowly rewire ourselves over and over. And sometimes in our lives, living in this highest self energy looks like nourishing our body because we love it, not because we hate it or we need to change it. Or maybe it's speaking your truth even when your voice is shaky and you're scared or nervous. Maybe it's resting without feeling guilty. Hello, moms out there, parents. Maybe it's taking aligned action even when you're not ready, or investing in yourself, something that you know is right, but you've been scared. Maybe giving yourself compassion when you fall back into any old pattern, shadow, activity, whatever. Self-compassion endlessly. All right, so what is the highest path that you can take from here right now? So you think about that, and I will see you in the next episode. Namaste, friend.